This news exclusive. The I-Team has learned the Department of Energy and Environmental Protection recently let one employee go and put another on administrative leave after separate incidents.
Channel 3's chief investigative reporter Sam Smink is here in the studio right now with what she has uncovered tonight. Sam?
We first started digging into Deep employees after the May arrest of Richard Swan. Swan, the assistant director, was arrested for impersonating an officer. We wanted to know what other Deep employees were being investigated. The I-Team found Theodore Brightwell was allowed to retire at the end of July. According to records, investigators found the environment compliance specialist engaged in an inappropriate conversation with a member of the public while performing job duties using his state cell phone. The I-Team also learned Dennis Thibodeau is currently on administrative leave with pay. The chief fiscal officer for administrative services was placed on leave in April, pending an investigation into alleged misconduct, according to Deep records. No further details were given. We were unable to reach Thibodeau. Brightwell said he had no comment. As for Richard Swan, he has yet to appear in court to face his charges. He is expected in court in November. For the I-Team, Sam Smink, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.